Alright, so it's recording now, so we'll just start. Off top,
Cool.
happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah, man, you do
appreciate that.
anything exciting for it?
No, not really. Besides the EP, that's probably the most exciting thing
Right, yeah.
relating to my birthday.
How did the EP come together?
Um. Well, so I knew that I wanted to do something for my birthday, like more than a song. I knew I wanted to put something out. Originally, I was gonna put a mixtape out on my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was gonna be like a lot more like a celebration. I was gonna get a lot of like my rap homies on it. It was just gonna be us like barring out for a whole tape, which would have been super dope. But yeah, and then I just was like, I don't know if that's what I feel like doing right now, and it just ended up becoming more of a like a meditative thing where it's just like I'm more talking about everything that's going on in my life right now. You know what I mean? Because it's definitely the most personal work I've ever done. You know,
Right.
so far. You know, I don't know. That's just kind of well, and I've had a lot of the beats for a while. The Bart beat I had for several months. Honest I think E had sent that to me a couple weeks ago once I was starting to work on this, as well as the Half Sunny beat. I asked Hesh for a couple beats. I told him I was working on a thing. Pepper sent through Salt in the Wound just randomly. The Riley beat had just been sitting around for a little bit, not really being used, and I was like, this is a perfect time for it. And then me and Argov's joint, that was just a beat from a pack that he had sent me. So, yeah. So it just, I don't know, it just came together very naturally, and I made it in about, like 5 days.
Oh, wow.
It came together super well in a very short amount of time, and I'm happy that it's resonating like it is.
Yeah, it's a crazy album. It's a crazy project that was thrown together in 5 days. That's impressive, yo. That's insane.
Yeah. Like the writing and recording process, that was only like 5 days. Like Half Sunny Salt in the Wound was recorded the day before it came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. So it was, I don't know, I just wanted it to be as raw, sort of. Like, I didn't want to overthink it or anything. Not every line had to be perfect. I wanted it to just be like the raw feeling, just the first thing I think and write and feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel that. So
That was the goal.
yeah, when you're going into recording a project like that, like you kind of said at some point, you were like, oh, I'm going to start recording something for my birthday. Is that like your usual process? Is that how like Brain on Fire came together, or are you just constantly recording and then when you feel it's time to put a collection of songs out, you just kind of dig through your batch?
No, yes. See, I don't do that at all. I usually set a like a guideline, or I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and then I'll just do that. Like I'm not like a lot of other like rappers and artists. Like I don't have just a bunch of songs sitting around.
Okay.
Like when I make songs, I make them for that one purpose typically, and then it comes out. You know.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
How much?
I don't usually just have stuff sitting around.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah. How much is planned out before? Like, is there a set number of tracks you want to do beforehand? Do you have like kind of a concept going in, or is it usually just I'm gonna start recording songs?
I usually sit like I usually set not sit. I usually set like a whole concept usually. The thing that took the longest with 18, because I decided I was gonna do like a 5 or 6 track EP after one time me and No Clue we were on Discord. We were just talking about like stuff we're planning on doing. That was when I started thinking about it and getting beats together and stuff, because it went through like mad different versions. The EP, like there was going to be a version with 2 Argov beats, one with like 2 Hesh beats. There's going to be one with a Jay Levison beat on there, like different Bart beats, different Riley beats. Like that's what took me the longest, because I knew I only wanted it to be like 5 or 6 songs. I knew that. And then I just put the beats in order. I was like, all right, so let me see which ones are going to sound the best with what, blah, 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 blah. And I usually work that through first, and I'm like, all right, now let's rap. That's kind of how I do it. I do the whole, everything else first, and then I get a cover usually, and then it's, all right, now let's just rap. Let me just rap my ass off. That's basically how I do it, yeah.
So going back to talking about your covers, because I think I saw you tweet a while ago that you kind of like kind of seeing yourself as a cartoon and as a character like that, how important is artwork to you when creating a project, and what's your process like trying to find artists to do stuff like that?
It's super important. Like, I don't know, since I was little, I've always wanted to be a cartoon, you know, and I just think it's so cool to see myself as like a painting and as a drawing. Because so far, all of my album covers, even Metro Luciano included, like, we're animated, we're drawn. And I don't know, I just think it's so interesting. And also to like the fan or consumer's eye, what they see, you know, I think that they can tell that when you do something like get a painting or a drawing, your mind is in a different place. It's not just me standing in front of a brick wall and that's my album cover. You know what I mean? They can tell, like, okay, where like he's thinking a little bit differently about some of these other things, you know? Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Well, and then you were asking, like, how do I find artists? Usually it's supernatural. Like, it just comes together, right? Like, with Brain on Fire, like, me and Randy were just friends in a group chat, and he had posted some paintings one day, and I just asked him, like, yo, like, would you like to do an album cover for me? And it was literally as simple as that. Squidbillies, who did 18, or hold on, let me rewind. And then Lefty, we all know that me and Lefty are friends, so that wasn't anything. Like, it was just like, yo, me and Metro are doing the EP, you want to do the cover? Like, it was as simple as that.
Right.
And then Connor, or Squidbillies, who did the 18 painting, he had reached out to me. I checked last night because I actually forgot how we initially connected, but he reached out to me and was like, yo, like, I'm a fan of your work. Like, I'd love to do cover art or like a animated video for you or whatever. And I was like, word. And I wasn't putting him off. I just didn't really because nothing was happening. So I had no reason to be like, yo, I need you for this. But I saw that he was starting to paint a friend of mine, Zeke Ultra, the rapper. He started painting him. And I was like, yo, like, are you painting Zeke? He's like, yeah. And I was like, yo, like, you can paint me too. Like, I was just, because I don't know, I just thought it'd be cool. I'm like, yo, like, you can paint me too. And he's like, all right, well, I don't have that many pictures. So I sent him like 10 pictures out of my phone, like, here, just draw some of these. And then he was sending a couple through and they were pretty good. But then he sent through just this perfect fucking painting. And I was like, yup, that's the one. So, I told him, I was like, yo, like, I'm not trying to fuck up your challenge. Because Connor had, like, this challenge going where it was, like, 70 days of paintings or whatever, like a painting each day. Yeah. But I was like, yo, please don't post this one. I was like, I need this for my album cover. And I sent him my cover. And, like, so all I did was cropped it and just, like, to the square. And then I just saturated the colors a little bit. That's all. Okay. You know, now it just came through very naturally. I already know who's going to do my next thing. I don't know after that, but I know who's going to do the next thing.
Right. Because the next thing I saw you tweeting that you were, because at first, because you were talking about putting a mixtape on your birthday. Then after that, you said you had a mixtape and an album, but then you were saying that that mixtape turned into an album. So I was just curious, like, what's the point, man?
Like, in this day and age, like, everything's an album. Like, what's the point of being like, this is a mixtape, this is an album? Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, exactly. It's all kind of the same thing. Especially because I was working through the mixtape and like getting beats together and like writing out potential track lists and features and stuff. And like, it's to the point where it's like 13 songs. I'm like, this is a fucking album. Right. Like, you know.
Yeah, thanks to streaming, everything's just anything at this point. Yeah, especially on Bandcamp, it's just you might as well just call it a project and put a cover on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what is your beat selection process like? Do you prefer getting packs, or do you kind of like to go to producers with ideas you have, or?
All of them. I like literally. I do all of those things. Like, sometimes I'll reach out. I don't reach out to producers a lot, not because I don't want to, just because, like, I kind of have a lot of producer friends in my circle and stuff and we all work together. But if I reach out, like, to work with you, you know, that's how you know I, like, really, really fuck with what you're doing and that I'm really interested. And that's no disrespect to anyone, but, like, that's just what I do. Like, if I reach out to you, then I'm like, all right, hold up, I need to work with this person. Then sometimes, like, I'll just ask Argov, like, yo, like, blah blah blah, like I'm thinking this style, or I'll be like, yo, like can I get some new beats or whatever? Because me and Argyle talk all the time. Like we're really good friends now, and I love our relationship. But like I'll just be like, yo, like I'm thinking some shit like this, and he's like, bet, and then he'll just like send like 20 beats through. You know, it's pretty cool because he's a machine, bro. Like he's a worker. But yeah, he'll just like send beats through. Riley sometimes he'll just send beats through, or I'll ask. Bart, it's literally the same way with all my producer friends. Sometimes they just send shit through. Sometimes I ask. Sometimes I'm requesting a certain type of thing. I don't do that as much. Usually it's just, we all know what I do and what I like and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, that's usually how it goes. And then I just pick the best ones, or the ones that I like the most, usually. That's kind of, yeah.
So do you write before you get a beat, or do you need a beat to start writing, or does it kind of go both ways?
Bro, I wish that I could give more concrete answers on some things, but, like, it's both again. Yeah. Like, most of the time I'm writing to a beat or to a style of beat. It's rare that I just start writing a verse to nothing. I used to do that all the time, like, in the early days, like, Brain on Fire era and stuff like that. Like, I would just write. But sometimes, like, something will happen, like, in the day or some shit, and then I'll write a line and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And usually whatever the next thing I get, I try to apply that line to whatever it is.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. So it's both. Sometimes like I'll write a couple things and I'm like, okay, this needs a good beat, and then I might go searching, or I'll get a good beat and I'm immediately inspired, and then I start writing. Right. So yeah, it's kind of like, yeah.
Okay.
Either or.
Yeah, I feel you. So are you kind of recording yourself? Like, are you just at your house recording yourself and then you send it out? Or how does that process work?
It's literally this simple. This is why I'm a big advocate for, like, home studios. Literally, all it is my computer, an adapter, a stand, my mic, and a pop filter, and then headphones. That's it. And I record into free GarageBand. It's just I send it to good people to mix and master it. And that's why it sounds sort of like, not necessarily high quality, but it sounds better than it should with the way that I record and how I do it. But yeah, and I don't even rap like in my closet. I don't have a sound barrier. I straight just rap in the middle of my room.
Okay.
And I just send it to, I just export the tracks from GarageBand, and then I send them to whoever's gonna mix and master it or whatever. Yeah, that's literally how I do it. Just in my room. You know, just invest like $300 into just a cool little setup for your house. Because all you need is to invest like $300 in a cool setup for your house, and then a good engineer, you know, or engineers. Because I have several friends who are pretty good at it now. So it really doesn't, you know, it's easier than you think. You know, I don't really record in studios or anything.
Yeah, no, I feel that. When I was going to school, because I went to like a kind of performing liberal arts school, whatever you want to call it, and they would have these like massive studios. It was like one of the more expensive studios on like the East Coast or something crazy like that. But like I never saw it being used, because all the kids I hung out with were just recording it in their house, and it was insane.
Yeah.
Seeing people do that. I feel like it's just like a more home feel. Even if you get it and sent it out, get engineered, it's just a different environment recording.
Yeah, it's the studios in general, like they're sort of they're dying out because everyone realizes like they're not that necessary. Like you can do this shit at your house for way cheaper. Like, because like people will spend a bunch of money on hours in a studio and stuff. But hey, that's their forte. I'm not really studio shaming, because some people work better in a studio, which is perfectly fine, you know. But for me, like if I have an idea, I can immediately just plug up my mic and go. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait like, oh yeah, brother, the studio is going to be open on Sunday, so I can go there and do that. Like, nah, like I would rather just do it at my house. And I don't know, the studios in general, everyone's realizing that you can do this shit at your house, you know? Yeah,
I feel that. We'll go back a little bit. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Harrisonburg, Virginia. It's like it's kind of a small town, kind of. Like, we're becoming more of a city, like, every year. Because, so, like, I'm 18, so I was born in 2002. And it used to be more country, but, like, every year it's becoming more and more city-like. Okay. But yeah, that's where I'm from. It's on like the more like the west side of Virginia. Like it's probably closer to West Virginia than it is like a Richmond or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm from Harrisonburg, Virginia. Do you know the college UVA? Have you ever heard of UVA, University of Virginia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like an hour away.
Oh,
That's
okay.
in Charlottesville. Yeah, so
All right, that's
I'm on that side of Virginia.
Right. Yeah, I feel that because I'm from PA, so I always have to tell people I'm from like the Philadelphia side, not the Pittsburgh side. So like I get trying to make that difference. Do you think that's had an influence on like your sound or anything, where you're from or your environment at all? Do you believe stuff like that influences you?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because like Virginia doesn't really have a sound. That's the thing. Even we don't even really have an accent either. Mm-hmm. We just Virginia's so weird because it's like the East Coast and it's like the South at the same time. It's a very, very weird location because like think about it. So in Virginia, you can have an artist like me, and then you have Missy Elliott, and then you have Fly Anakin, and then you have Drum. Like there is no specific sound. We all and no disrespect to other places. But I feel like that's why so many Virginia artists are so creative. It's because we don't have like a sound to guide us or anything. We just sort of have to do what feels the most natural and be the best at it to get a good amount of recognition and people to take us serious in the first place. You know, that's how I feel about it.
Right. No, I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no, there's no specific sound. Even in the city I'm in, like we have a pretty cool music scene, and actually I'm very I don't know if blessed is the right word, but my actual neighbor right across the street, he is like a big hub for Harrisonburg music, and he's like a really good friend of mine. You know, he's a DJ. His name's Ryan Clark. Great dude. And he's literally my neighbor. And then also funny, right beside him is like this rock band who's like signed to Atlantic Records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like our little three houses, like in like an L shape. We're all like the music in Harrisonburg. It's really funny. And then there's some other artists from Harrisonburg too. No disrespect to them, but like shout out this dude named Keynote. There's another dude I'm sort of forgetting who's cool with Ryan and them. Damn, tough. But yeah, you know, it's just there is a little Harrisonburg scene. Right. I'm not necessarily in the music scene just because my music is so different, and just because I can't be as social as they are because like I have school and shit like that.
Right.
But yeah. So that's, I mean, you know, my surroundings, they inspire me a little bit, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. You just graduated high school too, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's hype. Do you have any, do you know, are you going to college? Do you have a school in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to college. I'm going to a college in Harrisonburg called JMU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
James Madison University, yeah.
Right.
I got a scholarship there.
Oh,
wow. A full ride, so yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's exciting.
Thanks.
That's really great, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got to catch up on that because I got to like do some orientation stuff. I low-key been slacking, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Exactly,
like, and that's kind of what was going on with 18. Like, it's just so much going on. I was just like, I need to do this in a certain way because. So here's something I kind of wanted to talk about. There was this project that I was going to work on called To Show That Time Had Passed. And my friend E, he was going to kind of help me, you know, string the songs together and stuff like he ended up doing with 18. Mm-hmm. But it was basically going to be just me sort of just, it's going to be super raw. More like poetry over these beats, and it was gonna be me like talking about just how I feel, like with my grandmother passing, and being like more of an independent person now that I've graduated. Mm-hmm. It was gonna be super personal and shit, and I'm glad that I didn't end up doing it because I felt like it was more painful than it was healing, and I feel like. Right. 18 sort of becoming what that project was going to be. I'm very happy that's what it ended up being because 18 felt more like I'm hurting sort of, but it's like I am going to get through this and I am getting through it. You know, it ended up being much more positive, even though it's still sort of a dark project a little bit, but it's still very like nostalgic and but yeah. Anyway, that was just like a little side note. I wanted to mention that because that project never came to be. It was gonna be like 6 tracks. I was gonna have E on it. I was gonna have Argov, Riley, and this producer named Dweeb. They were gonna be on it. But yeah, it just never came to be. And I just wanted to mention that. Just yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's interesting. Yeah, and that's that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? Well, when did you start writing?
I started writing. Shit, man. Oh, that's a great question. Like, I always was rapping. Like in first grade, I was rapping. Like I freestyled on the bus with one of my friends. I'm trying to think when I started like physically writing rhymes. I feel like that might have been. There was something I remember seeing when I was little of Snoop writing on a notepad, and I was like, yo, Mom, I want to go get a notepad. And like she took me down to the store and I got a notepad and I was gonna write raps on it. I don't even remember when that was, but that's something I remember doing. I was like, oh, I'm finna write on this notepad,
right.
and these are gonna be my raps. That didn't come to be really. And I remember when Odd Future was really cracking off, I remember writing some stupid edgy raps in one of my notebooks.
Yeah.
I don't know, just very young, like middle school. Some elementary and middle school was like when I was like writing and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. That's like kind of when I started writing raps.
Right. I gotcha.
Very young.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, Odd Future's that. I feel like that influence is just like in everything you see nowadays.
Everywhere.
It's insane.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, they're crazy. When did you release your first song then?
My first song. So, let's see. In 9th grade, I released my first song. It was like a joke song. It was awful. Some people probably still remember it. It was called Trail Walking. Like some of my high school friends probably remember Trail Walking because quite a few people in the school heard it and shit. I wouldn't say it was like viral or anything, but like people around my school, they knew about Trail Walking.
Right.
You know, that was when I got 200 plays and thought I was fucking famous. I was like, oh my God, dude, I got 200 plays. That means 200 people heard it, which isn't what that means.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Trail Walking. That was the first song I released. That was the first song. It was like a joke, terrible. It was like that was when like Smoke Perp and like XXXTentacion and like Lil Pump was out.
Oh,
so I was like, oh yeah, let me make a song. And the thing that I do think back on is how even then the way I was rapping, like the way I was rapping on the trap beat, like it was still like. I wouldn't say I was being lyrical, but I can tell that was always sort of like actually like rapping. Like that was always gonna be what I was gonna do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to saying that you're kind of vulnerable on your music, is that something that came naturally to you, or were you just like, well, this could be a way for me to express those feelings, so let me try it?
Being like vulnerable in music, that came a little bit later because it was when I heard, Earl had always been one of my favorite rappers. But then when I got deeper into listening to like when I had first, because I was 1 year late on I Don't Like Shit. I didn't hear that until 2016.
Right.
Because I remember I bought Doris like the week after it came out, and I was so excited because my parents had to take me to go get it. And I remember I was so confused when I heard it. I'm like, this is really dark. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was so confused. Right. If you think about it, I was only like 10. I was like 11. So I was like, what is this? You know, because Doris is different than like what Tyler was doing. You know, even though there are similarities, it's still much darker and very different. But, yeah, so I was like a year late on I Don't Like Shit. In 2016, that was a really dark period in my life. But that was when music started to become sort of like my savior almost. And hearing like I Don't Like Shit. And I was just listening to, at the time I was listening to a lot of Kid Cudi then. I was just listening to a lot of things that made me realize, I guess I can talk about how I feel in my music.
Okay.
I wasn't quite there yet. I was still writing like just rappity rap like type shit. I was writing stuff kind of like like Pro Era and stuff like that. Like, that's how I was still rapping.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I guess the idea of being vulnerable was still there. So then a little bit later, that's when I got into Mike and like Madani and those two especially. And I was like, oh shit. So I can like literally rap about how I feel, you know. And I knew that I could do that, but I guess I just never thought about me myself doing it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, word. So, and the thing is, like, you can be inspired by those people and not rap like them. Because my rap style, like, I don't rap like Mike or Madani, mm-hmm. but the idea of what they're doing, I'm like, so I can do that. It was a very almost liberating feeling. Like, I was like, okay, word. So I could rap deeply about something that's affecting me or whatever. And that's when I started like making my own like shitty beats, and I was trying to rap like they were, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't right. I'm like, and I was doing it. It was okay, whatever. My mom was just supportive. She's like, oh, good job.
Yeah.
Shit like that. But I was like, so those raps weren't like, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but it was me getting closer to what I wanted to do. Because I was like, okay, so they can do it. I was like, well, why can't I? And then through Twitter group chats, I've told this story before. That's how I met Riley and Randy and Ari and shit like that. And me and Riley were the only people who like fucked with underground stuff, really, you know. And when he put me on the Mutant Academy, that changed everything. I'm like, they're from Virginia and they're doing this sound that I felt like I never could. So I was like, all right, then let me try. You know, that was my thing. And then, since then, I sort of forgot what your question was. But, because I've just been talking, my fault.
No, please, just keep talking. Just keep talking. It's all great. It's really great, honestly.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the end of the story. Like, we're here now, because we know what's happened since me and Riley, like, shook things up. We're like, here we are. Yeah.
I feel that, for sure. So, how would you say your music has progressed over the years, from like Brain on Fire to what you're doing now? What do you think has been the biggest change for you?
My actual rapping ability. Because I'm not trying to like brag or be cocky, but I genuinely keep getting better, and it's a great feeling. I would say the actual rapping ability. I would say my beat selection actually was always pretty good, because if you listen to Brain on Fire, like, those are pretty good beats for like a 16-year-old to pick.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, for me at that time to pick those beats, sometimes I listen and I think back to Brain on Fire, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. Like, there's some good ideas here, and I'm glad that project is still listened to this day, and people still cherish it, Anyway, sorry, my fault. But yeah, I'm glad that people still care about it to this day, and the rapping on Brain on Fire is good compared to what I would be doing soon after, because that summer was my first big level up. Was that summer, because that's when I put out the No Clue, the VA to NY song. That was when me, Bart, and Riley, we were all in New York. That's when I made that. Like, I just kept progressively getting better, you know. And I think that's the biggest difference from like Brain on Fire to now, is like literally the rapping ability. Because the beat selection got better, but it's not that much different. It's just I'm a better rapper, and I know how to put things together better. Yeah.
Right. So you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but what has being in No Clue kind of meant for your music and just for you in general? Because it seems like, because I've talked to a couple people out of there, and it just seems like you guys are like just real tight knit, like really good, like friends more than anything.
Yeah, we are. I don't know. It's interesting. That's a good question. I don't really know how to answer it because I don't know. I've just. It's a great feeling knowing that you have these people who have your back, because music, like people do say, it is a really weird kind of industry, sort of. So to have just like this group of people that I trust, and we all make great music together, because it reflects in the music that we're actually friends and we have chemistry. Because there's like a bunch of like other people who can try to put things together and you can hear that they don't have chemistry and that it's sort of wrong. But with us, even though we're all very different, even as producers are different, because like Argyle and Bart are super different kind of producers. But at the end of the day, you can hear like there's something there. You know, I've never met Ant, but when you listen to Amir Bilal music, we sound like we're like best friends and we're together all the time, but we're not. You know, and that's just because we always are communicating. We always talk to each other, even about shit that's not music. We're literally just friends. So I don't know. I think that's the best thing about No Clue, and what's helped me the most is that I just always have this group of friends. But the thing is, like, No Clue, we also all keep getting better, and we also are continuing to get better at making music together as well. You know, like we make really good music together. And you can, and like I was saying, like the friendship thing adds to why I think we make such good music together, because you can just tell that like shit is right. Like there's no like qualms like in the group. Like everyone's cool with each other. Like, and we're all good friends. We talk to each other every day. And we have a lot of plans for the future too. Right. So there's gonna be a lot of things going on.
That's exciting. It's real exciting.
Yeah. So, I'm very excited.
Yeah. No. Definitely. So going back to kind of some of the, like you talked about Amir Bilal, and that was the Venom Drench was a single you dropped this year, and you kind of do like tend to, well, at least from what I've noticed, have like kind of these one-off singles that you drop, like the one over the Doom beat not too long ago and stuff like that. Are those just kind of in the moment songs that you create and you're like, oh, this needs to get out there now, or are those stuff from the process of creating like an 18 album or something like that?
That stuff is just, let's just do it and put it out, basically. Okay. Like Venom Drench, we knew that we wanted to do some Amir Bilal stuff, and I was just listening to one of my friend's beat tapes just because I do that anyway. And I don't like to be that guy that asks for beats from beat tapes and stuff, but I heard it and I was just like, we need this. Like I was like, we need this one right now. Right. So I just asked my friend Deezy if we could use it, and he was like, yeah, it's cool, y'all can use it. And I just bought the beat off Bandcamp, and then Riley looped it a little longer so that we could both spit on it. It was as simple as that. That song was made in about a week's time. And we put it out on that Sunday. Yeah, it was a great song. I'm very happy. Because Ant already had his verse. That verse was already done for the most part, and then I had to write mine, and then we were cool, smooth sailing. We mixed it and put it out the same day.
Oh, wow.
And then the Doom one, it was sort of the same thing. I was like just very casually, I was just on YouTube and like this Doom samples video had popped up, and I clicked it and it was the Burdock sample, and then they showed how Doom flipped it, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's a really good beat. I was like, I think I should rap on that one, because like my sound and Doom sound, they are pretty different. So when I heard something that's perfectly in both of our worlds, I knew I had to. And when I heard it, I even tweeted out that night. I was like, I think I'm gonna rap over this Doom instrumental. And then 3 days later, I was done. I was like, well, all right, let's put this shit out. Yeah, as simple as that. Usually the Lucy's are made and designed as Lucy's. Like, okay. Yeah, they're usually not a part of something and then it's let's put it out. It's usually made as a Lucy. The only one that is something me and Metro have coming up. Was made in a part of the Metro Luciano like era, but it just something fell through that we didn't end up getting to do. So that song's just been kind of sitting around, and people are going to get to hear it soon. But yeah, great.
How did the Metro Luciano album come together?
So Riley had tweeted out like he tweeted out one of his beat links, or I think Metro tweeted out one of those two, and then Metro said something like "send it through." You know, and I don't like to go in on someone's collabs, but I heard the beat and I'm like, damn, I want to rap on this too. So I just replied, I was like, let's both rap on it. And he was like, oh, word? And I was like, word. And then Metro sent his verse through like 2 days later. And then I was just like, perfect. And I was on FaceTime with Nephew Hesh. We were just talking, and he had sent something that him and Metro had worked on. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fire. I was like, if you got any shit like this, I'd love to work on some stuff like this with you or whatever. And then we both were just like, all right, well, I guess we'll make that a song too. And then I was talking, and me and Metro were just talking, and I was just like, shit, bro. I mean, that's already 2 songs right there. I was like, why don't we just do a couple more? And I just sent a couple beats through that I had, lying around, and we just made a good project in about 2 weeks. And it was just really simple, simple.
That's awesome.
It came together naturally, and I'm glad that it did. A lot of the stuff I do is starting to come together very naturally, and I'm very happy about it because it's the realest feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like you have kind of like a quick, faster process where you just have an idea and then you immediately go and execute it. Yeah. That's really great. That's awesome.
And that's the thing, like, I always felt like that wasn't my process. Like, I always felt like my process was, let me think about this for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to realize it really isn't. Like, it's usually a quick, like, once I have the idea and I really, really want to do it, because I have a lot of ideas that I write down. Mm-hmm. But, like, if I have an idea that I really, really want to do, it usually will happen fairly quickly. Yeah. I still write verses a little longer than other people. That's just because I try to put in a lot of thought into what I'm writing. But usually it is pretty quick. And recently it's been very quick, and I'm very happy about it. And I also think that just boils down to me getting better as a rapper, that I can just write very fast. It's starting, and they be very consistently good verses as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So because you talk about kind of like how those collaborations come together naturally, is it sort of the same process when you're, say, picking like Cruisin' to be on like 18, or do you have like some of that stuff in mind when you hear a beat, or how does that process go?
That's usually in mind when I hear a beat. Typically. Okay. Yeah. When I hear a beat, I know if I want it to be a beat that someone else raps on or not. It's rare that I've had to be like, all right, I'm going to take this person and put them on another one. Like, usually when I hear it and I'm like, all right, I think this person should be on it, it's usually pretty, like, immediate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because when I got the Honest I beat, like Sam and, like, Ant and Sam and Ant are usually on everything that I do. I usually want them to be on everything I do. So I just knew, like, when I heard Honest I, I'm like, yeah, this is Sam's bag. Because, like, the beat's in, like, 3/4, and it's got that sound. And I was like, all right, yeah. So this will be me and Sam's record. And then, and it was, I was like, I just knew that if any place on the album fits Ant, or 98 Preem, as I should say, if any song would fit Preem, I'll be like, all right, it's this one. Mm-hmm. So it was really that simple. It went through a couple different beats. Like, as the like I said, the EP went through different versions. Right. So Ant was just like getting bombarded with beats. Like, I was like, all right, I think this is the one I want you on. Then when the track was switched again, I was like, all right, this is the one. And then I was like, wait, no, this is the one. And then eventually I was like, all right, this is gonna be the one. I'm gonna stop annoying him.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's sort of how it, like, came about. Was like that. When I hear it, I'm like, okay, I know I want a feature on it. And usually I know who the feature is. Right. The only one that I don't usually is Metro. And that's just because he can actually do a lot of different things. Like, he can be on a lot of different kind of beats and be fire regardless. So, like, certain beats I know this is for this person. Sometimes, like, I'm just like, all right, I feel like rapping with Metro. And then I'm just like, this will work, because I know that me and him are going to make a good record, usually out of whatever we rap on together. It doesn't really matter,
Right. How many different versions was there of 18, if you don't mind me asking?
So I kind of touched on it earlier. It was like, I would say there was about maybe like 4 or 5 different track lists that I worked through. Because besides the version that was going to be kind of like a party album, like a celebration, there was going to be a lot of rapping. Because that was a mixtape. When I knew I wanted it to be an EP, there was like a version with a couple Argyle beats. There was one with a couple Hesh beats. Yeah. There was one with a Jay Levison beat. Like, I would say it was about maybe like 4 or 5. And then here's like a fun fact. The final version of the project, there was originally going to be a 6th song, but I was just like, I think that, like, Have Sunny Salt in the Wound is just it's such a great way to end out that project. Right. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. It's a great song. I think that's my favorite off of that EP.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, actually, even though this is my interview, I'd like to ask you, what were some of your like favorite moments and things on 18, if you don't mind sharing? I just like to know what other people think about what I put out. You know?
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. Like I said, I'm a big I like beat switches a lot because I'm kind of that's what I like. So I love that. That outro was phenomenal. I think, man, what's the track? Track 1 was blew my mind the first time I heard it.
Yeah, the Bart one?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's just exciting to see you working with other people, like, not like outside of No Clue, but especially people like Pepper Adams who, like, I'm just a big fan of Pepper Adams and I'm a big fan of you, so, like, when, like, collaborations like that happen, I'm just a big fan of it. I don't think I've ever heard of Zeke Ultra. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he killed
Zeke
it.
Ultra, He's a rapper. He's crazy.
Yeah,
Zeke is fucking awesome. I love Zeke, bro. You gotta tap in with Zeke's music. He's super good.
Yeah, put me on. I didn't hear about him until right now. Oh, until, you know what I mean, until I heard the EP.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, bro, Zeke is super fire. And then there's this dude named Elijah Banksy. He goes hard, too. Yeah, he's super fire. Yeah, both of them. Listen to this song. It's called Carry Me Home. That's one of the best songs in the last couple of years. No funny shit. I'll send you the link to it after we get off.
I was about to say, definitely just send in the DM.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, that song's amazing. I love Carry Me Home. But Zeke's got a bunch of other great songs.
Yeah.
That's just... that song, I don't know, it's just like a 10 out of 10. Like, it just knocked it out the park. It was fantastic. With Pepper, me and Pepper have been talking for a while now. Like, there's been a lot of things in the works. One thing fell through, and there's a couple other things that are going to happen. But Salt in the Wound, he just sent it through randomly one day, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the beat. I need this one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then E is a friend I met through Argov. He is the future of music, probably.
Oh, wow.
And he only has like 100 followers. That dude is going to be a problem. Everybody's going to be riding his dick very soon. It's going to be hilarious. But yeah, he's the guy.
Right.
Yeah, he's the one. If anyone like was an executive producer for 18, it's him.
Okay.
I would say, because he's the one who like did all the transitions and helped and mix and mastered 3 of the songs.
Oh, okay.
Like he did all that shit. Like, that's why like with the project it says additional production from E, because it's basically like he was almost like an executive producer. And that's going to be me and him forever now. Like,
oh, wow.
Because I met him a couple months ago. like, that's all I'm finna say. But like, he's going to be my guy for a while now. And I'm just going to be paying attention to see, what's going to come of this. Because I know that people, they love to pay attention to what other people do. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. I got you.
Yeah.
So do you think you met a lot of your collaborations through like Twitter and stuff like that? Or your collaborators are mostly online, all of them?
Probably. I think so. I would say probably all of them.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, Twitter's a great, because that's how I get like all of these interviews done. I just DM people on Twitter. So it's really an insane tool to like that to think about. You know what I mean? How it's kind of taken over like that.
Yeah, bro, Twitter, it did everything. It's how I met Riley. It's how we created No Clue. It's how we met Bart. Literally everyone was through Twitter. And a lot of it was actually through kind of like hip-hop Twitter as well. Yeah. Because that's how I knew Ant first, was through several group chats. And Sam was through mutuals. Argov was also through Twitter, and he was kind of on hip-hop Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Nas was as well through mutuals. Yeah, like, literally, like, all of this was through Twitter. And I'm not on hip-hop Twitter as much as I used to be, but yeah, like, I'm very thankful for what Twitter and, like, music Twitter and all that's done, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I met a mutual of ours, Ari, is someone I met through Twitter like 4 years ago.
Man.
And yeah, I still talk to that kid like every day. Yeah, no, he's great. Shout out Ari. Big shout out Ari.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Ari's my best friend. Everyone knows Ari's like my best friend. Yeah.
Ari's the one who put me on to you. He's the one who sent me Brain on Fire. I think like
really?
Yeah, like whenever that came out a year or two ago is when he's the one who sent me the Bandcamp link.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, bro, Ari's... Bro, like, Ari hears basically everything I do. Me and his relationship, I was actually talking with someone about it the other day. me and Ari's relationship is even different from No Clue. Like, me and Ari are literally, we're just friends who happen to be creative and talented as well.
Right.
That's how I see it. More than music and art is the foundation of our relationship. We literally were friends kind of before music was a thing, you know. So our friendship is different from other people.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
No, I feel that. Yeah, good peoples. Well, good
I
peoples.
love Ari, bro. That's my brother, literally.
For sure.
Mm.
Speaking of Twitter, I noticed you kind of tweet out, what is it, like the letterboxed reviews, and you're real into movies and everything like that. Do you think the movies you watch influence, like, when you're making music in any way?
A little bit, and then a little no. Like, not really. Like, sort of.
Yeah.
Kinda. Like I can be inspired, like, energy-wise, where it's like, oh, yeah, man, like, now I want to make a song, but that doesn't happen a lot. I usually watch movies more to, like, blow off steam or out of boredom. Like, I don't have nothing to do, so I'm just going to watch a movie. Yeah, I wish they were more closely related, because someone asked me that another time, too. Mm-hmm. But, like, nah, not really. It's just, like, it's just something I also do.
Right.
Like, I've been because I wanted to be a director first when I was little. Because I have a bleeding disorder, right? Mm. So I wasn't allowed to play sports, you know?
Okay.
So that's why I'm a pretty nerdy kid. Mm. Because, like, if you meet me, I have a very interesting, like, build, like, shoulder-wise and shit like that. And, like, people have always told me I was meant to be a football player. I mean, I'd be a very short football player, but I was meant to be a football player. But I have a bleeding disorder. And they were like, you can't play sports, like contact sports. So entertainment just became my outlet, basically. Mm-hmm. Listening to music and watching movies and, like, reading comics and shit. And I think that's why I ended up being, like, such a nerdy fucking guy, was because I had a bleeding disorder, so I couldn't play contact sports. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So movies have just always been, like, a love of mine, because I just love just different ways to tell stories, because music is a way to tell stories. Right. Did I say movie? Anyway, movies and music are ways to tell stories. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Movies have always been, like, a huge part of my life. Mm-hmm. And it always will be. And I feel like movies and music are a little separated for me. Okay. They can intersect, but they don't really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I was the same way. Well, I was just like, I'm like just real short. So like, even if I wanted to make like the sports teams or anything like that, it just was not my forte. So yeah, I just listened to albums all the time. It was just more fun.
It's just like, it's different ways to you know, consume things and shit like that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's whatever. You know, you get it.
Yeah. For sure. What was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you consider a stand-up special? All right. Well, I'll consider it.
Last thing you watched, sure.
Yeah, there's this comedian named Anthony Jeselnik. He's like the funniest fucking dude. He's a genius, bro. I watched his special for the second time last night.
Okay.
It's called Thoughts and Prayers. It's probably my favorite comedy special. His style ain't for everybody though. So people who are listening to this, I recommend it, but with caution. Because like his shit's not for everybody.
Right.
Because I can see people fucking hating his style and his content. But yeah, Anthony Jeselnik. I've actually been watching a lot of his interviews recently, and I find him to be a very, very interesting guy because he takes his craft very, very seriously. Mm-hmm. And so do I. And
right.
I can be inspired by people like that, even though we do completely different things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a comedian at all, really. You know, I'm funny, I guess, but I'm not a comedian. You know, and it's like, but I can still be inspired by how someone carries themselves and how much they care about their craft. You know. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably the last movie I watched was his special. It's on Netflix too, so it's easy to watch.
Yeah,
it's called Thoughts and Prayers by Anthony Jeselnik. He's super tight. But and then the last like real movie, both of them I watched with Ari actually, and then the last movie was not my proudest, but it's I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've never seen the movie. No, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler, Kevin James. This fucking stupid ass movie. I don't know why we watched it, but yeah. Yeah, it's a funny movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
it's
I feel
mids
that.
though. Like it's whatever. It's
Yeah, I
super
haven't. I know of it. I haven't seen. My dad's he's like Adam Sandler's like the greatest
Yeah.
human being ever. So like I've like definitely heard about every Adam Sandler movie. So yeah, I know what
I
you're
love
talking
Adam Sandler. He's like a guilty pleasure. Like even his shitty movies, because he has this very natural charm. Even though the movies are shitty,
Mhm.
he has a very natural charm that's very entertaining to watch, and he's a very likable person.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love watching his movies just because I like Adam Sandler, and also I've loved his movies since a kid. So like I can peep them shits forever. Like
Exactly.
it really won't matter to me. I love his movies, and I don't give a fuck. Even though a lot of them suck, it doesn't matter. to
Yeah,
me.
it's just I feel that. Yeah, it was like the
Yeah,
only
I
thing.
just love Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's the only thing my dad would let me watch growing up because we have to take like real long car rides because he's from New York, so we'd have to take like 2.5 hour car rides, and like he would have the little TVs set up like in the back for us, and it was just 4 Adam Sandler movies for like the entire ride. It was great.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, and I know what you're talking about Anthony Jeselnik because I've seen some of his stuff and it's cool, but then I watched an interview with him and it made me like him like a lot more. Because like he's saying some wild stuff on stage, but like that's not actually like it's for the purpose of saying it on stage. It's like a little character he made up, and I think that's really interesting.
Like this douchebag. Like his thing is, I'm the greatest in the world. Like that's his whole thing.
Yeah,
and like he just and I like his style of where it's like this is a joke and now I'm done. Here's another joke and now I'm done. You know what I mean? Like it's not like comedians who like tell these long, like fluid, funny stories.
Mm-hmm.
He just says, here's a joke, and then he'll like make a joke with the audience. He'll be like, all right, if you like that one, here's another one. You know, very, very entertaining guy for me. I really appreciate his craft, even though the style isn't for everyone. And I don't love it all the time, but I just really enjoy watching him because I like what he does.
Right.
Yeah. I like what he does, yeah.
Right. I feel that.
Yes, sir.
So like just wrapping up here, you said you have the 2 little albums, projects, mixtapes, what have you, coming on the way. Can we get is there any like more information? Like how are they going to be soon? Is there any, you know what I mean?
So one of them is going to be probably the end of summer.
Okay.
Or right before or right after summer. So like probably within like the next 3 months, probably. Because 18 is just an EP, but it's getting coverage like an album, which is funny. So I'm going to space it out a little bit. But yeah, the next album that, and then the other album will either be like right at the end of the year or like maybe at the top of the next one. I'm not sure. The plan was 2 more, but with how 18 is going, because it's getting a lot more coverage than I expected, because I wasn't even going to put the shit out, which is really funny.
Right.
That's a long story kind of for another time, but I wasn't going to put it out or whatever, but it's really resonating with people. It's and like even like media people are starting to cover it, and I've never got that kind of coverage in my life before, or like this amount of like new fans. Like the other day, yesterday, someone texted me on Instagram like, "Hi, like I'm from Portugal, like and I heard your shit and like I love it." And I'm like, wow, like you know that's fucking crazy.
Insane,
yeah. So I don't know. This is just a new level of exposure that I've never had before. So that's why I'm probably going to space it out a little bit more than I originally planned. But yeah, the next album thing is going to be fully produced by one person. Okay. Not really going to say who it is yet, but that's the plan. And that's probably what's going to happen. We've been working on this for a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be fully produced by one person. So that's really all I'll say. And then the other thing is, literally, it is a mixtape. Okay. It's and even like style wise, it's going to be more like, it's almost more like me doing an album of like roses and like burdocks, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, it's a different sound. It's a little bit brighter. It's more rap focused, you know? Yeah. So that's going to be, and like the tempos are going to be faster. There's more drums. That's going to be the thing after the producer album. So yeah, awesome. I'm very, very excited, and I hope other people are excited too.
Definitely. Is it?
And like, Amir Bilal will happen at some point too.
Right.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, is it kind of crazy for you to think about that you have like the people in Portugal and all these like different blogs like kind of covering you now? Is that sort of like surreal, or is that?
Bro, it's insane. It's really crazy. Just because, you know, I've been a fan of people for so long, and the fact that people are enjoying what I'm doing so deeply, I don't know. It's like an honor. It's just crazy. Yeah. But also, I'm noticing there are a lot of like blogs and people who I'm definitely on their radar, and they're almost purposely not covering me or talking about me.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, and a lot of people like, oh, I don't give a fuck. But like, no, it does bother me a little bit. Because there are several like outlets and people who I am most definitely on their radar, and they know who I am. Because people have even told them who I am. This is not about any rappers or anything. This is more about like media stuff.
Right.
It has nothing to do with rappers. Rappers is a completely different thing. That I actually don't care about that. It's like just like bloggers and stuff. It's a little frustrating because it's like, you know who I am. Like, don't act like you don't know. You know, that's a little frustrating. But I mean, it'll be okay. But I don't know. It's very interesting being at this level of exposure because I'm just like a kid from Virginia. Like, really, it's as simple as that. And it's so cool that people are receiving me all around the world.
Right.
You know, and it's very rewarding too. Like, I'm just happy that my work is paying off and that it's resonating with people.
Right.
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's really exciting, man. The thing about those blogs, though, is that, like, it's kind of a weird two-way street because, like, they gotta make money and get clicks, so they're only going to focus on what people are, like, clicking on. But at the same time, like, if we stop consuming just everything they put up, then they'll kind of be forced to go out and try to find new ways. So it's kind of a weird, like, you know what I mean? It's a weird two-way street, but it's just been going on since, like, the blog era started. So, like, it's one of those things. It's like, if it's going to get fixed, it's going to be a while, so...
Yeah, and blogs also are, like, less important than they used to be a
little
bit.
My God,
but,
you know. No, exactly. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, 100%.
But it's whatever, though. Shit's going to change because, I mean, a lot of people are fucking with what I'm doing, and I'm very happy about it. And I'm happy that people care enough to, like, write about what I do. Because that's how I know that they're taking it in a little bit differently, that they are going to now use their words to talk about me. You know, it's really cool. It's a great feeling. I'm very happy about what's going on. You know?
Yeah, man.
And hopefully it can continue to be like that, dude.
For sure. Yeah, no, 100%. Congratulations on it all. It's really exciting. I think everything that you're doing and all your collaborators are doing is super exciting, and I can't wait to see what comes next. And I appreciate you taking your time to talk to me.
And next time I have like an album thing or whatever, I'd love to talk to you again. You know, that shit would be super fire.
Hit me up. I'm
of
usually
course.
Just watching cartoons, so I can put that on pause to come do this.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.